Welcome back to Open Window Politics. Today we're going to be going through my latest prediction for the 2024 presidential election. I've already characterized all the safe, likely, and we have the one lean district, or one congressional district in Nebraska there, but we've got 226 electoral college votes for Harris to 219 for Trump. And then we'll be going through each of these swing states and looking at the 538 polling model for each of them to give us a good indication of which way these states will go come election day and the days following. So we will start out with the state of Nevada. I believe I already have the polls pulled up here for Nevada. So in Nevada, it's a pretty close race. It's definitely a close one. Most of these polls have Harris up. There have been a few polls. Most of them are Republican-leaning polls that have Trump up. In the state of Nevada, it looks like Trending Politics and the American Fuel and Petrochemical Manufacturer polls has Trump up, but every other one has Harris up. It'll be close for sure. It'll probably be within 1, maybe 2 points. I think it'll be close though. Democrats are also usually underestimated in the polling in Nevada, so for now, I will add a tilt characterization so we can be a little more specific. I think all these states will probably be on the tilt level. And then we will get to the state of Arizona. In Arizona, we'll look at the polls there. Oh, no, that's the Senate. So in the state of Arizona, here we are. So in Arizona, let's look at the polls here. So it's a slightly different story. Harris, a while ago, was doing pretty well in the state. She had a bunch of polls from Morning Consult and the Cook Political Report that had Harris up. This second latest poll has Harris up by 2 by the Arizona Family, one. And but the latest polls on average has Trump up by 1.3. So we will be giving the state of Arizona to the Trump campaign, to the Trump-Vance ticket, and that will result in 11 electoral college votes gained for the Republican ticket. And with that means we are at 232 electoral college votes for Harris and for the Harris-Walz ticket to 230 for the Trump-Vance ticket. So we will then be going through the state election. Well, let's go to the state of Wisconsin, see what the polls are showing us there. The state of Wisconsin, go there. Alrighty, so let's hear what we got. So we have Harris is up by 1.6, so a pretty good lead there. Most of these polls have Harris up. There's the Trafalgar polling firm has Trump up by 1, but it's a Republican-leaning pollster, so probably has some bias. And it looks like there is one Atlas Intel has Trump up in the state of Wisconsin, but all these other polls, Marquette, the New York Times, Siena College, ActiVote, a bunch of these other Morning Consult, BSG, Strategy Group. Anyhow, lots of polls have Harris up by a pretty comfortable margin. I think it will probably, this is a state I can maybe see, but historically Trump has been underestimated in these 3 Rust Belt states. That was the issue in 2016. So I'm going to keep it as a tilt characterization, but I do think that it will be in the Democratic column when the state is finally called. And then next up, we will go to the state of Michigan, see if there is a different story there or if it's more of the same. So we will go to the state of, let's see here, Michigan. Here we are. Let's see what the polls are in Michigan. All right, so we have 1.6% lead for Harris. Most of the polls have her up. It looks like there have been a few and they take other factors into consideration, not just polls, but it looks like it's been a pretty close, definitely a close race, but on average, Harris is up by 1.6. So we will give the state of Michigan to the Harris campaign as a tilt blue state. And with that, that's 257 electoral college votes for the Democratic candidate to 230 for the Republicans, although I would guess these next few states are going to be Republican-leaning ones. So we'll start out with the state of Georgia. In Georgia, let's go to the polls there. I think that this will probably be a Republican state. Biden was able to win Georgia in 2020. It was, if I remember correctly, the narrowest margin win for that Biden was able to win the Electoral College votes for. But okay, so we will go to the state of Georgia. Looks like we're already here. So Trump is up by a pretty, I mean, not a super comfortable margin, but a decent margin in the world of close elections. 1.3 isn't bad. It has Trump up in most of these. I doubt it. I'm positive it won't be a 5 or 6 point margin like that Quinnipiac poll is saying, but and that's the latest one. Insider Advantage has it as an even race, so it's going to be a close state. I definitely don't think it'll be 5 or 6 point margin for either campaign, but for now we're going to give the state of Georgia to the Republican ticket. We'll go back. There we go. So that leaves us with 246 for the Republican to 257 for the Democrat. And then we will go to the state of in North Carolina. Here we are. So the state of North Carolina. It is a bit of a similar story. A similar margin, a little bit less though, which is actually kind of interesting. Biden was not able to win North Carolina in 2020, so it's a little interesting to see that the polls are showing it's a closer race there than it was in the state Biden was able to win in Georgia. Kind of interesting there, but for that we have about a 0.8% lead, so very close. The latest poll has it as, well, it looks like Trump is still ahead by 1, but it says even, but most of the polls that you can see here have Trump up by a couple points. I doubt it'll be a couple point lead, maybe 2 points, but for now that will be the characterization for the state of North Carolina. And that leaves us with the final state here yet to characterize, which is the state of Pennsylvania. So we'll go and look at the polls for that state. Let's see here. So we will start with the state, or end up with the state of Pennsylvania, and this is one of the closest races in the country. Both campaigns are putting a lot of money and efforts into winning this state, and it will be interesting to see who ends up being the victor. So we have a couple Republican-leaning pollsters here that have an even race, and then Trump up by 2 on the. Then we have Atlas Intel again that has Trump up. Seems like that might be possibly a biased pollster, but on average, as you can see here, most of these have Harris up, and again, she will not be winning the state by a 6 point margin. It's going to be a close race in all the swing states, but Pennsylvania especially. But for now, we're going to be going with the characterization of the 0.6% lead. So this state is going to be even closer than a lean characterization. It'll be well within 0 to 1%, so I guess it will be within the lean characterization, but that will be barely enough electoral college votes for Harris and Walz to claim the presidency and vice presidency. And in this situation, the Harris-Walz campaign can afford to lose Nevada and still have the presidency. They just need to sweep these 3 Rust Belt states. For the Trump campaign, he will probably end up winning in the state of Arizona, so that can be a lock there. But really the best path for the Trump campaign, like I mentioned, even if Republicans win in Nevada, it still won't be enough. So really it comes down to the state, and as you saw in the polls, Wisconsin and Michigan are the 2 furthest in the Democratic column, not by too much of a margin, but they're the most supportive of the Democratic ticket in the latest polls. So we're going to give that characterization as that, but really it'll come down to the state of Pennsylvania. If Trump is able to win that, he can even afford to lose. Let's say he loses the state of North Carolina, which is unlikely. This is not a super likely map, but he can afford to lose it if he's able to win the state of Nevada as well as Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is just such a electoral college heavy hitter with its 19 electoral college votes that it'll be hard for the winner of the presidency to not win Pennsylvania. Will most likely be the key deciding state. Anyhow, feel free to let me know if you have any questions about any of the polls or predictions I went over today. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.